Americans are living longer than ever before, so they need a place to stay active and productive in retirement. How designers of senior communities are improving the quality of life for baby boomers. Next on Prime. Hi, I'm Bill Pemberton, and this is Prime. Joining us today are Gary Kerner and Rocky Berg with 3 Living Architecture. They're here today to tell us about an exciting new development in senior living. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
My pleasure. Well, Gary, I'm going to direct the first question to you. What is the new and exciting news for seniors today in senior living?
Well, I think the reality is the marketplace today is transitioning just like it has in the hospitality industry. And I come back to that by saying both Rocky and myself, being involved in senior living, hospitality, and residential, what we've seen is a paradigm that's beginning to shift. And the fact is, we're seeing a whole new model becoming based on the fact of who we are as baby boomers.
We're going to retire the word retirement.
I like that.
Yeah, it's about
just
living,
in time.
Yeah, it's about living active. It's about living an engaged living opportunity. So.
Well, that's interesting. So let's drill down a little bit into this new concept. First of all, why do we need a new model?
Well, the model today is all about living on exclusive islands. And really, in many cases, our seniors are put to the side of our society. So I think there's a real need to allow seniors to live an engaged lifestyle. So a lot of opportunities exist for us there.
Right, and what we're seeing again is the notion that as individuals ourselves who are baby boomers, our lifestyle is totally different than our parents' lifestyle. And that's driven today by the fact that we are the greatest movement of the quantity of individuals coming up that will be serviced in that marketplace.
This is personal. This is about us.
Yeah.
Yes, it
about
is.
all of us.
Yes, it is. Well, that's interesting. So what I'm hearing you saying is that we've got a lot of boomers, and even those before boomers. I think I read some material, even ages 65 to 75, very similar in mentality. They're going to demand a new kind of senior living experience. Is that what I'm hearing?
Right. The tsunami continues to build, and we're really about even making the wave even deeper. So the idea of having an inclusive living environment where we can live in an environment where it's really cross-generational. And I think you have a more enriched environment to live in when you're sharing dining and you're sharing theater and arts with a variation of age groups together. And I think it's a proven thing where as you live in these kind of environments that you live longer, and we profess to be happier. Absolutely.
It's kind of the original village concept where there's somebody of every age and people interacting with people of all ages. You know, I read an interesting article the other day. Associated Press said that boomers will work till they can look forward to working till they drop. So besides this whole Starbucks generation idea that we want it the way we want it and we want it better and we want some of the hospitality perks that you talked about, Gary, there's also this imperative out there in our culture that says we're going to have to be making money a little longer than 65. As you said, we might have to retire the word retire. So how does that affect how you and where you put a senior living community? Sounds like we're going to have to move back to the mainstream here a little bit.
Definitely.
Yeah, the idea is that the seniors will demand to be they'll still be in the workplace, and so it's not about creating a production area for them. It's really for a place for them to have transformative living experiences or enriched living experiences, so they can be really all that they can be and really enjoy doing it. So it's about not just living longer, but living better, living well.
Living better, living well. That certainly sounds good.
The inclusivity that Rocky's talking about is the fact that what we're looking at is, the community today is isolation. But the reality is you begin to involve it in education, you involve it in food, you involve people in being able to extend their workplace. So that dynamic changes from how the community works in this case. And so we start to look at that in a much more holistic approach.
So it's really not about creating an environment where we can cool our jets and sort of just fade off into retirement. It's really about getting ready, ramping up for the second half.
Right, yeah, life begins.
Right, I like that. I've heard it called rewirement instead of retirement. Well, I like the idea of it all going mainstream. Let's talk a little bit about drill down into this model a little bit and explore it. How does it look when you take something mainstream? You put it somewhere different in a crossroads. I think we've got a graphic that we can show what this new community looks like. Is it?
Well, in many ways, it's about pulling some of the typical spaces that might be programmed into a community and pulling them out so that the larger community can embrace those and utilize those, and at the same time bring the larger community into the senior's home, so to speak. And so it's a great opportunity for cross-dialogue and cross-thinking and a lot of exchange, obviously a more enriched living experience.
You know, just looking at our graphic there, it looks a whole lot more like I don't know, a place that a lot less sequestered.
This is showing a perfect opportunity where we're bringing in education and civic from a neighboring school. We have retail really at the front door that's moving into the community, all centered around an amphitheater and a lake. So a very synergistic opportunity for the larger community to participate in this location.
Well, you know, I like that idea of pulling people out of the margins of society, where we've kind of, even in these what we might call elegant exiles, they've been on sort of a marginalized situation and around almost exclusively older people like themselves, which is fine. But I like the idea of pulling people back and getting that into a mix, because there's just a lot of wisdom that the older people can share and a lot of energy and vitality that we get from young people. And I think that's important to the psychological well-being of seniors.
Yes.
So, not being one myself yet, but just thinking that it could be true. Well, that's interesting. Well, let's talk a little bit more about how it builds out on the ground, Gary. You bring a lot of the hospitality perspective, and we'll examine that in a minute, some of your background there. But talk to us a little bit about how hospitality, and I should back up a little bit and say your career has been largely hospitality, yours has been largely senior living, and so now there's this very dynamic integration going on here. How's hospitality going to up the game?
Well, I think what's interesting about it is that both of us as designers have been in the firm 30 years and involved in that. You get a wealth of experience, but part of that experience that we've seen and why this sort of plays out today and then how it begins to interact together is the fact that hospitality almost 15 years ago, and you'll kind of recall this, made a tremendous paradigm shift in the fact that who they were designing for at that time was actually the greatest generation. That was the business traveler.
Right.
But that began to shift. It began to shift to myself, and now it's even to a younger group. When that began to happen, what you began to see is a tremendous change at the needs they were trying to meet on the hospitality side. So as we look at that and we sort of say, how does that happen today? The paradigm, we believe, begins to shift because we've seen that. Now the user, the upcoming user, is actually us. And so when you start to think that through, you look at the paradigm today says that's basically senior living being informed by hospitality. We believe it's exactly the opposite of that, and that's how that industry changed dramatically.
It's really hospitality being informed by senior living. So you start with that as the foundation.
Right.
Wow.
And what you begin to see is that when you start to look at that, you begin to see is that understand how that industry has changed, and all of us look at it today and see how much hospitality works in a transformational idea of the user itself. In other words, when you go there, I've had so many of my clients who come back from one of these properties we've done and said, hey, I'd love to have that bath or that room actually in my house. And so it's interesting how that industry now has shaped how people live. As opposed to that, they just would go to these properties and really not have an impact.
Created real expectations. We had a graphic up just a moment ago. Let's put that back up there. This shows a little bit of inside one of these places. We have about 4 minutes left, so we'll. Okay. But tell us a little bit about. We have this very attractive mixed-use sort of situation. It looks a lot like a top-end hotel you'd walk into. So, tell me how that plays out there on the community level.
Well, I think again, it's that idea that you're looking at how spaces interact. You're looking at psychology of space, and that real idea of when that plays itself out is how that works with people and what they enjoy and what they begin to experience, and that begins to uplift their spirit. So that's sort of when you start looking at how the planning side of it works. That's the dimension that we're talking about.
These are spaces where multiple activities can be going on at the same time. So you have a great dynamic atmosphere to start with. But there's spaces that can be comfortable for 2 people or for 30 people. And so our clients can appreciate the efficiency there, but ultimately the users and love the spaces.
A lot more of a sensory input type of
Very much
situation.
so,
Yeah,
yes.
which of course we know as people age, the more they appreciate the stimulation, that environment, better use of space too, I'm sure. Well, that's interesting. How did you guys know, and we want to touch kind of briefly here, but how do we know that now's the time for this? I mean, let's talk a little bit about your background in hospitality and then yours and some of the things you fellas have done. Tell us a little bit about how hospitality changed, and we'll talk through a couple of your properties, which really were game changers.
Yeah, you had a couple of ones, the Mansion on Turtle Creek, which I was a designer on back in, it opened in '81. The other one, the second one is the Peninsula in Beverly Hills, which opened almost 10 years later. That'll kind of date me by time, but you'll see. But in reality, what happened is those projects, we began to do things that were innovative, dealing with how the person felt about it. Doing a typical room at that time, we widened the room. We set the bed so that you could actually face the windows when you woke up in the morning, as opposed to things today that really began to change how people felt about it. Peninsula was something different, smaller, utilizing exterior space from a feeling standpoint. Again, real classic properties that have held their place in time, but the user is cross-generational on those.
Exactly, and they really heralded a
bet.
whole new type of approach. And I'm looking at them on the screen, and they're absolutely gorgeous. I know Mansion is considered number 75 worldwide for a hospitality venue. You got it just under 2 minutes. Talk to us a little bit about some of the stuff you've done in senior living that prepped you to see this kind of sea change, Rocky.
Well, 10 years ago we had the opportunity to create the Edgemere, and we've been invited back to do phase 2 even on Edgemere, so it's been enormously successful. But a great example of, again, starting with the hospitality as the model and working in the requirements of senior living. But it's a beautiful residence where, again, we took into consideration, as we do in our hospitality projects, what happens between that glass line. You know, what is happening in the garden affects what's happening in the dining space, and having that dialogue back and forth between the glass. And then most recently, the construction of the Mirador down in Corpus Christi is completed, and this is an ultra-green community, a very comfortable community, and it's really kind of a safe haven residence, you know, on the volatile coastal coast of South Texas. So both communities are contextual, and again are starting to embrace these ideas.
Sounds like you guys would definitely be qualified to see a big sea change when you see it. I'm excited as a boomer. In about 5 seconds or 10, tell me what transformative means, Rocky.
Transformative is really about not just change, but an enrichment. And we envision this not only for our end users in terms of the residents, but for ourselves as designers and our clients. When they work with us, the idea is that they are changed in a very positive way. And so it's really about that enriched lifestyle.
Well, that's fascinating. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but it's been fantastic. Thank you both for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
If you guys would like to find out more about 3 Living Architecture, go out to their website at www.3arch.com and check it. And their phone number is 214-559-4080 or 1-800-861-8284. Also follow us on Prime on onprimetv.com, or please also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I'm Bill Pemberton, and I'll see you next time.